Morning, brothers and sisters. Today we will learn and listen communication, how communication makes us, helps us, provides us lifestyle. Paralanguage is the meaning conveyed by how something is said. Oral communication is what is said. This is the distinguishing feature that makes paralanguage different from oral language and also indicates their inseparability. It is impossible to have paralanguage without oral communication. It is almost like the relationship between computer software and hardware. There is no use of one without the other. Paralanguage is one of the most powerful complementing media that oral communication possesses over the written. How a particular message is said to a great extent its measure of importance. In some ways, we may call it the highlighter of oral message, since it uses certain physical aspects of language articulation to emphasize the central focus of the message. The features of paralanguage are voice, volume, variation, pitch variation, speed of speaking and pauses, word stress, inflections and known fluencies. To see what role they play in the known verbal medium, let us take up an important paralinguistic feature, voice. Voice, when the phone rings and we take the call, a voice says, "Hello." What are the first few things we learn about the caller apart from the meaning of the 5-letter word hello? You will be surprised by how much you can actually learn from the paralanguage of messages. First, you will be able to make out the gender of the caller. Second, whether it is an identifiable or familiar voice. Third, if unfamiliar from the way the word is spoken, you may be able to assume the socio-linguistic or educational background of the person. Now, none of these meanings are actually contained in the word hello. These are all derived from the paralinguistic voice, associate, and note the oral communication itself. It is also true that without the voice it is impossible to communicate orally. This then is the relationship that exists between the two, where paralanguage helps to add further meaning to the oral communication. Paralanguage is, as the name suggests, like language. It does not use words as such. It is basically the vocalization of words. So what's the truth of voice and words? It is to be known by the reader, writer, speaker, and listener of the language. For the accuracy of the words and concept of the English language and linguistic grammar, we must go through the proper and perfect pronunciation communication that helps us to know the information of the different type of literature of the world. When we go through the literary terms, when we read novel, drama, poetry, and other written material of the literature, then this voice and words, perfection of the pronunciation help us to speak correctly. Otherwise, we cannot be a fluent speaker. So for the fluency, correction and accuracy of the words, we must go through the fundamentals of English language and grammar. These are the foundation courses of English grammar that helps the scholars and learners to know the reality of the language. There are many coherences and connectivities, relativities